let's look at the draft coming in for both these teams. And even though they say that in terms of the draft, there's a lot of changes coming in, I kind of just want to look at one change. Either Expedia bumps up his usage of the Natalia or try something else, because it's a little bit too risky, especially going up against Orange Esports, which again, their lineup, quite a veteran lineup. They should know how to handle against these assassin roamers.
Indeed, considering that we do have Neo and AIM over there, these two are, of course, different laners that have played roam before, so they're aware of what Expedia might be attempting to do towards that early stage of the game. Expedia himself obviously going to have some pretty big shoes to fill, because now that Saiful is playing as a coach, being able to fulfill the same sort of obligations that previously he would have done for the Homeboys is going to be some difficult for him to really adjust into.
It's also a challenge for Saiful, because transitioning from a player to a coach is actually quite difficult. It is good because you've been a player before, so you know how it feels on stage. You know what kind of heroes that they want to use. But it is a situation where you have to realize you're not going to be in the game shot calling for the team. So if you give a draft that is very difficult for them to execute, it's going to be bad, because they don't have your leadership in game. So he has to trust his players, but at the same time, he needs to create a draft that is very much executable even without his legendary shot calling.
Yes, sometimes people just really don't realize that. They think that, oh, being a coach and being a player is not all that different. You just need to know a lot about MLBB. That is simply not the case. There's a lot more factors at play here. But proceeding on with the draft, we can see that the ban phase has concluded. Homeboys getting rid of that Akai, which has been terrorizing the stage all day today. Fanny and Faramis, and then Orange Esports banning out Valentina. Ling, an interesting choice here, but Chibi's on the opposite side, so understandable, as well as the Julian, which means that options like the Tamas, like the Beatrix will all be available. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, the 1-1 is available, and usually people actually counter the 1-1 with a Valentina, just because the Valentina doesn't have to need any kind of weakness tags. She can use the crossbow tank instantly, and there we go. If the 1-1 is up, one of the most broken hero in Mobile Legends history, of course it's going to get picked up.
I wonder if Orange Esports were betting on the possibility that Anip does not know how to play the hero, because we really haven't gotten to see Anip play 1-1 before in the past. But the Homeboys do still lock it in. We'll see whether or not this is a hero he's proficient with, because regardless of how good you may be with 1-1, this is not a hero you let go to the red side.
Yeah, and looking at the 1-1, I'm already starting to think, what kind of hero does Valence want in the lane up against the 1-1? Because he can use those meta marksmen, but during MSC, he showed a lot of Moskov. I kind of want to know whether he would try something like that. I would say it's not a good pick, just because the more you move, the easier it is for you to give the weakness tag. And right now, Orange Esports with the Eve pickup as well as the Esmeralda, great and all, but Thamus is still open, and Darov is open as well to handle the Esmeralda.
It's an interesting choice to prioritize the Esmeralda this early on, especially considering that it wouldn't be difficult for them to wait until their next turn. But then again, they are playing against Sabat, and the Esmeralda is one of his signature pickups, so maybe they just want to respect that. It's been a while since I've gotten to see Neo playing on a hero like this, but I am all for it.
Yeah, honestly, with the Eve being picked up, I'm almost disappointed we don't see a lot of Yuzongs, but most of the time I'm like, you know, it's okay, because EXP leaders picked up early. Over here, they do have a choice whether they do want to Yuzong or just pick up the Tamus. And if they do, then Homeboys, they get a lot of power picks here. They're going to secure the Lilia for themselves, making sure that they can rotate a little bit faster than the enemy team. And we called it, the Tamus. Two extremely strong heroes, arguably S tier on the side of Homeboys.
Yeah, and add that onto the fact they already had the 1-1 to begin with. This is shaping up to be a very comfortable lineup. Tamas against the Esmeralda is actually still going to lean slightly towards Tamas, and Lilia will win against Eve most of the time, meaning that these two lanes are already going to be going in priority to the Homeboys, and Orange needs a way to be able to address that.
Right now, in terms of priority, I kind of do feel like Valence, unless he has that one hero that he wants, like a Beatrix, then he could wait it out. Beatrix is a very solid pick, and looks like, yep, the Beatrix is going to get picked up. I'm feeling very proud of myself. The draft has been called pretty nicely.
It is pretty good. I think these are pretty expected hero pickups from either side. Obviously, at this point, if the Beatrix is not picked up now, it is going to be banned for sure in the second phase. So Valens definitely wants to have one of the best marksmen he can get against a 1-1. But I do still wonder how well it'll work out, considering that it is going to be a Nip playing on this hero. The second ban phase will now commence. For the Homeboys side, they are still going to be looking for a jungler and a roamer. So RNG Esports will be targeting that Selena.
Very interesting. This might be the first Selena ban, at least not that I think of for this particular season. And I like that you talked about Chibi's hero, because so far in the MPL, he's been focusing more on those tanky junglers, you know, like the Balman, the boxes and such. So I want to see Chibi on something a little bit more aggressive, especially considering RNG Sport. They have a Beatrix, they have an Eve, not the highest in terms of HP pool. So it is a good opportunity for him to use something like a Lancelot, which Chibi has been doing very well on. However, if he does pick up something like the Balman, I wouldn't be too surprised.
What mainly worries me is that throughout the entirety of Season 9, tank meta was the thing. So a lot of junglers had to swap over to playing tankier heroes. And I wonder whether or not they've been given enough time to start readjusting themselves back to these high mechanic assassins. I guess we will find out, because two of these assassins are actually banned out in this final phase. Natalia as well as Karina removed from the pool.
That's one of the problems, because I am a tank player, so I know when you play tank, you just go to the bank. You just feel so good not dying. So, you know, it becomes one of those situations where I kind of do want to play the tank. And right now we can see hovering over here. They're hovering fighters, so maybe they're looking at a fighter jungler. It's good to pick out the Balman because, again, Balman is a pretty solid jungler focusing on the river fights, but also it's a good takeaway from Chibi.
Yeah, I think that's pretty smart from RNG Sports. We have to remember, Homeboys, Chibi especially, is a player that really prioritizes neutral objectives. He loves grabbing as many turtles and lords as possible, and Balmond, with that lethal counter, makes sure that Orange will be able to secure a lot of these objectives much easier. Subway going to be playing on that hero. We have to remember Subway used to be a member of Team SMG in the previous season, but didn't really get to play very much, so we're not very familiar with his whole hero pool.
This is kind of a difficult situation. Chibi might want a assassin jungler, which is good against the Beatrix as well as the Eve, but not very good against the Balman. So if they're going for turtle fights, the Balman would still win. And right now, the Matilda is going to get picked up, so not too tanky, but we talked about it, and the Lancelot is going to get picked up.
Instantly, you can hear the cheers from the crowd. They know this is going to be the Chibi Lancelot. And man, it has been a long time since we have seen this signature pick coming out of the Homeboys. Excited to see how it will work out. Matilda going to be played by Expedia. This is actually a hero he's quite comfortable with as well. And finishing things off is going to be the Ruby. An interesting choice here. I'm not certain if AIM has ever shown that he can play this hero.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I'm just proud that I know okay, it's good and bad. I know the Homeboys well, that we know what kind of draft that they're going to pick. But it does show that they might be a little bit predictable over here. But either ways, we're going to go into the game where for the side of Orange Esports, you brought it up. And that is the player I personally want to watch because Abe has always been a mid laner. So now transitioning into a roamer, will we see a Zion Senpoi kind of transition where Zion Senpoi was also a mid laner, but then because of Stormy, he became a roamer, and then he showed one of his best performances in MPL so far in his MPL career. Will we see the same thing with Abe, which again, coincidentally, the mid laner is going to be Stormy, which is our focus player for today. Stormy going up against Vince, where Bang was supposed to be the mid laner, however, Vince is being subbed in. It's just very, very interesting. I just want to see whether Aim and Stormy can play well with each other.
Well, without further ado, the Land of Dawn shall now once more return into focus, and we are going to witness the first bout between the Homeboys on the blue side and Orange Esports on the red side. What you mentioned is true. I'm very curious whether or not AIM will be able to reproduce Zion Senpoi's success transitioning from the mid to the rope.
Although I kind of do have to say, it's kind of a good flex for Stormy, where it's like, no matter which team I go to, the mid laner will transition to the roamer. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know how to say it without sounding too terrible, but you get what I'm trying to say.
He gets the good stuff, basically. He gets to...
He forces other people to retire.
Oh my god. I mean, you said you were trying to find a better way to say that. I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for, but we'll go with it for now. Expedia are gonna be able to provide some vision over on Subway, and AIM needs to make sure that he can respond to this. Giving information is a very important part of playing a roamer, and denying it away from the opponent is just as equally prioritized.
Yeah, speaking of which, looking at AIM, the way that he's distributing, he's putting a lot on the armor and magic resist stats, not really on the HP or the cooldown. So it looks like he wants to be very tanky earlier on, but he's going to get caught out. He has to use the flicker, but I would say that was very much necessary.
Yeah, if he did not do that, the Phantom Execution would have picked him off. But now, Valent going to be doing a fairly good job here against, and then obviously in the early levels, Beatrix will win out against the 1-1, which means that Anim just needs to make sure he doesn't lose out in terms of pushing the lane and getting gold.
Yeah, but either way, Valent, he has to be careful because just now he gave free weakness stacks onto Anim. It could be because he's level 3. I shouldn't be worried, but he should not have that habit. Either way, right now, Neo is going in front. He's taking a lot of damage. AIM's trying to push Sapat away, but look at this. They're all at the turtle side, and right now Stormy is getting focused, but it looks like he's sustaining. There's no problem for him, and First Blood going over to Subway.
That's just well played by Orange Esports, and Stormy not faltering under the pressure, just going through with the real-world manipulation. I'm actually surprised that Sapat did not manage to cancel that, because pulling someone back with the Molten Scythes would be enough to disrupt the Eve ultimate, but he wasn't able to do it in time, got caught out with a lethal counter, and instantly both teams just decide, well, we can't go for the turtle anymore.
Yeah, good kill going over to Subway. Unfortunately, they didn't get the objective that they originally wanted, which is the turtle, but still, a win is a win. It really doesn't matter where you get it. For Orange Esports as well as Homeboys, even though a kill did go over to Orange, but honestly, the game is fairly equal in terms of gold. It is where you would suppose it'd be. Valence, Subway, and Events, they're on the top of the charts in terms of gold, but again, there's not much difference out of everyone here.
Yeah, there's not a very big gold advantage for either side right now. Orange Esports just have about 300-400 gold more than the Homeboys, which isn't really much. Now you can see Chibi trying to go down on Stormy, but he does manage to get the real-world manipulation out. He knows Circling Eagle is already gone, and Chibi is going to be the first target. Subway secures the turtle with the lethal counter, and that's going to be an objective going to Orange Esports.
Obvious miscommunication there between Expedia as well as Chibi, because here is a good tip for assassin players or aspiring assassin players. When you go in, you want to have one skill that you can use to escape. So the way that Homeboys, they wanted to engage, Chibi already used his Phantom Execution to get close onto the target. He missed his puncture, but Expedia went in, so he went in as well. And then once the reward manipulation was open, he had no more skills to run away. So it was bad decision from Expedia as well as Chibi, badly executed. I hope they don't do that again.
But it was also a good identification of opportunity by Stormy. Knowing that the only skill that can cancel his ult is gone, he can feel very free to just pop the real-world manipulation, even though Expedia is right next to him. And that was enough to secure the kill onto the Lancelot. So Orange Esports right now doing a good job. And the early game is going to be more Orange Esports centered simply because they have this Balmond going to be able to come online earlier than the Lancelot, but they still have to be wary and not allow a Nip to scale up.
Yeah, because again, 1-1, as Gideon would say, it's a free win button, right? But it's only really a free win after, say, second, third item. So right now we're the side of Homeboys, as long as they can scale up, it's completely fine. Because I talked about this on the Malay caster desk, and that is the identity of Homeboys. They fight in the Riverside. They will fight when it comes to the Lord and the Turtles. And most of the time, 8 times out of 10, they win. And they usually get a comeback off of that. So for the side of Homeboys, what they really have to do is just focusing on getting their core items and then making sure that they have a good setup on Lord, get a crazy team fight, steal the Lord, and then just push all the turrets and then try to end it there.
Well, before they're able to do that, the next turtle has already come up on the land of Dawn. Orange Esports in full control over the turtle pit as they were able to push back the bottom side, and it's gonna go over the Stormy, but AIM might be out of position here, dashing away from the rest of the homeboys, but being slowed down heavily by the Lilia. Flickers away from the Torn Rose. Nice timing from AIM there. Valence now going to be the next target. Guiding Winds pulls Chibi in. Ooh, that's a lot of damage, but they don't have any more cooldowns. Real World Manipulation gonna catch out Chibi because he has no skills left and doing a lot of damage to Anip as well. Subway sees this. He wants to get the kill with the lethal counter, but Anip might be able to walk out. The Ballman still chasing him down. He has it. Oh, he misses! He misses the lethal counter, and he is trying to avoid getting hit with that last weakness point.
No!
Oh no! Oh, Stormy finds the kill. Look at Subway. He walks out with a minute bit of HP.
What is this? Stormy, no matter what, he's at the right place at the right time. Like, every single time we see Eve is like, oh, it's very easy. I'll just use my real world manipulation, get some free kills. And it's like, oh, you're fighting against that guy. I'm just going to come and I'm just going to put my Void Blast, my Void Crystal. Oh, I got another kill. Like, very good positioning, but also very good rotation from him.
Oh, the homeboys are just kind of being sloppy right now. I feel like that was just overly aggressive, and I like that they're trying to shut down Valence specifically, but putting themselves between two towers, I feel like they should have focused on taking down the tier 1 before actually making that sort of dive.
Yeah, and looking at the itemization, it's still not enough. Anip has the corrosion scythe, so he has a lot of attack speed, honestly, but look at this. Expedia is going to get targeted, and look at the damage. Valence just dealt so much damage. Sapat is going on to Valence, and he has been slain. Chibi, who are you going to focus on? They're going to focus on AIM. Stormy, no one is stopping Stormy, but no, never mind. He actually did get caught by Anip. Anip is dealing a lot of damage. He's trying to get the weakness stacks, but still not able to execute the crossbow of Tang.
A 2-for-2 trade, but Orange Esports lose their gold laner, so Homeboys actually comes out slightly on top in that trade here. And this is one of the bad habits of Valence, unfortunately. When he is playing on this Beatrix, he likes to do that flicker forward into the shotgun play. He tends to be very aggressive, even on squishier marksman heroes. And while he was able to get a kill thanks to that, he put himself completely out of position, and that's going to slow down his farm.
Yeah, but also, hold on, let's look at this. Neo going in for it. He's taking a lot of damage. Expedia going in alone. Subpot recovering some HP. AIM, unfortunately, did not catch anyone, but Stormy with the real world manipulation trying to get the kills. But Anim is flying up top. Subpot managing to get a kill. And right now they're focusing on to Subway Vin, managing to get the kill. And homeboys, this is what I talk about. This is their identity. Fight at the river, get the kills, get the objective, get the turrets.
That was a massive swing in terms of gold right there. Instantly, the 2K lead Orange Esports had is now the 1K net worth lead for the homeboys. They overestimated themselves, jumped ahead too much, giving away the crossbow of Tang. And even though Anip doesn't actually have that much damage right now, it is enough to allow the rest of his team to follow up and get easy pickups. Orange Esports, they needed to be more careful there. And again, this is Valence's bad habit rearing its ugly head. He can't be this far forward.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I do have to say where Abe, he flickered forward. However, he did not manage to actually hit any of his crowd control on not even key targets, but onto anyone. He did not catch anyone on his second skill or his ult, and that's unfortunate. Without a proper setup, he did not really make a situation where it's easy for Stormy to get a lot of damage. And speaking of damage, right now Anip has 2 core items. Now he has the Demon Hunter Sword, so he will hurt a lot. And looking at Valence, Blade of Despair, as well as Malefic Roar, he will deal a lot of damage. But I think this is a situation where he has to change into Renner, but no, he still wants the Wesker. He gets bit. But look, Expedia, he's going in alone. He's taking a lot of damage from Valence. Valence can dish out the damage as long as he can stay alive. This is the good and bad about Wesker. A lot of damage, but you're putting yourself in danger.
Yeah, we already mentioned that a weakness of a lot of marksman heroes in the game is that their attack range is too short. So that is one of the problems of playing with the shotgun, but it does help him get very quick kills, such as with Vince, not even allowing the Lilia to pop black shoes before he disintegrated. And now they're gonna just slowly poke down that top tier 1.
Yeah, but either ways, right now, especially the fact that Valens has Weapon Master, the burst damage is going to be a lot. So I feel like he should be comfortable enough to just use Renner. Even if he doesn't get a kill, as long as he pokes Homeboys from afar, it's going to give a lot of opportunity for Stormy to stop them in the real-world manipulation and then eventually try to get a kill there, especially Subway there on the Balmond with the little counter could just you know, like, end the fight.
Right now, though, they are trying to take the Lord. Both teams right next to each other. Neo coming in from the river, but they can definitely see that. And the Esmeralda is actually slightly out of position, so he has to use Sprint to get away. Luckily, will be able to escape from the crossbow of Pang, but that snipe with the Renner. Half of a Nip's HP gone straight away. Valens, again, using that sniper rifle is a very good alternative to Wesker. And since the Homeboys have to back this off, Orange can start working on the turtle again. Sabat's coming in, but Subway secures it. Aim now buying time against the rest of Homeboys as they go in with the circling eagle on top of the Ruby. Flicker forward from the Homeboys to secure this. Ruby dropping real low. Aim might die here. He's actually still alive. Real manipulation gonna stop the retreat for the Homeboys, but Guiding Winds gets the Tamas out safely. Here comes Neo though with the falling star moon and a lethal counter. Gonna finally find a kill in Expedia. Only one casualty from all of that.
Yeah, Chibi almost killed off Valens. It was fortunate that he was able to run away. And look at the damage. It's not Valens, it's Stormy. Stormy is dealing the most damage in this game with 42,000, 12,000 damage advantage over his own gold laner right now. Chibi in the mid lane is being spot out by the side of Orange Esports, but no one is really there to stop his movement.
Yeah, Orange Esports wants to get more objectives with this Lord. Valens actually waiting in the bush. Luckily, Vince checked it before walking in. Otherwise,
Valens used the ult.
Yeah, he would have probably get taken out there. Lord's gonna be pushing up top. Valens, as usual, with any player that has a Beatrix, they're just gonna be doing this, sniping the tower from afar, and it is so annoying to deal with. Freely going over to Orange, they want to get more.
I mean, it's just straight up not fair. Who else could do it? Layla. But do you really want to bring a Layla onto the MPL? Right now, Valens is still pressuring the side of Homeboys. Chibi right now, it looks like he does want to go in, but there is no clear opportunity for them to really engage. Expedia can't really single anyone out, especially looking at how Orange Esports is playing. They're grouped up so close together. Anyone that goes in is just going to get punished. So, but I kind of feel like he should be the front line. He should start something, and then Expedia follows up after that.
But I think what Sabat is trying to do is find a better opportunity to jump in, and he's not quite locating it. Without this Tamas, though, as you mentioned, there simply is no front line for the Homeboys, and that makes it a lot just very unsafe for them to try and take a fight. Orange, once again, going for the bottom inhibitor, real-world manipulation, zoning them out, Phantom Execution, finding two! Valens gets taken out in the backline, execution by the Lancelot. He now wants to target aim, misses the Torn Rose on Stormy. Orange Esports forced to make a hasty retreat.
I'm very happy with two players' performance. Number one, Chibi, he flanked from the side. He managed to get Valens sleeping, and I like Stormy. Right now, we got to look at the Lord push advantage. 31,000 tower damage. That is a lot. That is amazing. But again, Stormy, we've seen time and time again from the side of Homeboys, they do target him. They want to make sure that he does not dish out the damage. And even Chibi, with the Lancelot, one of his core heroes that gave him his name in MPL. And again, as an assassin with the assassin emblem, he is fast. But still, Stormy, he managed to just get away from all those damage.
What made Stormy the MVP of last season is simply his ability to be aware of where he needs to position in every single fight. You usually expect mages to be targeted very early on by assassins, but he always seems to know where exactly to stand to avoid being targeted, and that's what we're seeing right now. It doesn't seem like that quality of him has diminished here. Still 3-0 on this Eve, in a game where there are a lot of people that could easily jump him.
I think it's very fair to say that Stormy is a KDA king, because looking at the numbers from previous seasons, he has the highest KDA out of anyone. Like even for his own team, he has the highest amount of KDA. And right now, the Lord is being pressured. Let's look at the position from Neo. Neo is trying to flank from behind. Expedia goes in onto Stormy, and Stormy is super low. He's trying to run away. He still does have damage. Somebody manages to get the kill, but look at the crossbow attack, focusing on to Valens, but Valens was able to escape. Somebody going on to Subway. Double kill for this Thomas. Neo is here. Neo is trying to provide the support needed for Valens to dish out the damage. However, it's easier said than done.
And the mid inhibitor is actually taking a lot of damage from this one mid. Will he get it? He does!
Oh,
the mid inhibitor just falls for free there. But it was a good initiation from the Homeboys. Things just went south very quickly for Orange since they, even though it looks like they funneled the Homeboys into a single lane and they lost Expedia and Chibi, they still managed to take control of that fight thanks to a nip. But now he's dropping very low, and here comes Orange Esports.
Yeah, looking at the situation, Valence, he's using the Wesker. He still has himself, but look at Sapat is chasing after it. Who's going to get the Lord? Chibi! Who's going to get the Lord? Valence has been bumped up, and Anim is flying up top, focusing onto Neo. There's no way for him to run. Don't fight against Homeboys in the river.
Yeah, you just can't contest that. I like what Orange Esports were trying to do. They were attempting to steal the Lord away because they knew Chibi was not around, but he came just in time. And although he died to the burst from Valence's Wesker, it was enough. He got that red tree off. And then now a nip has become a problem. The 1-1 is nearly full build, and getting those crossbow of tanks is more than enough to secure the fight. As we mentioned, a free win button. That's all a nip needs to do in order to secure the team fight for the Homeboys.
And Stormy is having a more difficult time positioning himself because Sapat as well as Chibi, now they're in full aggressive mode. The Lord is marched in. They are managed to get the mid second tier turret. However, it looks like the Lord will not march any further. Very good defense coming in from the side of Orange.
What Orange Esports needs to do now is be able to catch out a nip, but it does make it very difficult because 1-1 has an inbuilt Purify, and there's only so much crowd control on the side of Orange Esports. They need to be able to catch out the 1-1 perfectly because otherwise they have a lot of heroes that want to stand in the front line, making it easy for a nip to pop that crossbow of tank.
Valence, if he does have the Demon Hunter sword, it might even be a good idea to swap out one of the weapons onto Nibiru, because I feel like looking at Orange Esports, they don't have enough DPS. They have a lot of bursts, but they don't have DPS. The only DPS that they have is Stormy. I kind of feel like they need a little bit more because compared to the 1-1, even after the crossbow of tank, the 1-1 can actually deal a lot of damage still. So I don't know. Again, it depends on the playstyle. Wesker as well as Renner has a lot of damage, but I feel like right now they need some level of consistency. So that's why I think might be a good idea to consider switching over to Nibiru.
I do actually agree with you there, but that also does seem to be outside the usual style of Valence Beatrix. So we'll see whether or not he does decide to do that. Right now, even though Orange Esports has been losing fights so far, they actually do still have the tower advantage. The next Lord is going to be up in 40 seconds, and this is an important one for both teams because this could very well end the game for them. You can see the Lord push advantage from the Homeboys earlier actually did not do that much tower damage as compared to Orange.
Yeah, they only managed to get the mid inhibitor, the mid second tier. I still think it's good enough. Right now, the question is really for Orange. What are they going to do for the next Lord fight? How are they going to... look at that. Anip, you were so close to Valence, and Valence could almost pop it off. With that Wesker, Anip is not going to survive it. His reaction speed, I would be surprised if he could press the Wind of Nature in time before the damage connects.
But note that he does have the immortality, so even if he gets bursted down once, coming back to life would give him the time needed to just pop the Wind of Nature and potentially get that crossbow of tank. So again, that's something that Orange Esports has to consider. The next Lord is now up. 18 minutes has passed, which means that this is the final evolution of the Lord. This could end the game for whichever team is able to claim it as their own.
Orange Esports, even though they have the Battle, I kind of feel like they have to focus on the team fight. Xpedia manages to get aim. But look at Subway. Subway's going to get focused. He is the jungler. He needs to stay alive. That is the immortality ball. Look at Chibi. Chibi's going after Stormy. Chibi is trying to get the kill. He managed to do it. Aim is all alone. Valence is so far away, and there's nothing that Neo can do. Homeboys, they win this team fight, and right now they have the opportunity to keep on pushing. Looks like they're not going for the Lord. Look at Sapat. Sapat is going after Valence. Valence trying to dishes out the damage, but again, the reload time is so far apart, and Anip destroys the turret. Chibi gets onto Neo. Valence finally changes to Nibiru, but it's too late. Game 1 goes to Homeboys.